Welcome to the end of the week State of the Escritoire. I'm just going to continue filming my kind of random adventures and oddities here. So first off, we got two new packages. This is like a extra translucent-y, color shifting looking type wax, so that was like a specialty wax. So this will be cool to use when I actually get to it. Plume sealing wax beads. Create your wax seals beautifully. Yeah, so let's take a look. And melt together, you'll have like differing resin type shimmery parts to your wax seal. So next up, I did it. I went all in and I got the nicer Cobra pen stand here. Good thing. Oh, cool. Nice little, I can't tell if that's like a leather or like a little faux leather, but it's a decent little leather pouch. Oh, that's cool. That's heavy. Look at that. The detailing on that is insane. That's super cool. And then we've got on the tail there, it's silver plated for the rattle. If you're an outdoor person, you can tell a venomous rattlesnake from a non-venomous rattlesnake by this outer cheek pattern here. It makes like a V. If you were to hold this like this, you could see their head makes a V shape. Typical snake that's not venomous doesn't have those venom sacs there, and that's what gives it that shape. So a typical snake looks like that. If you have a snake that's head flares out like that, that is a good indicator that that is a venomous or highly venomous snake. All right, next I'm going to prepare two ink samples. This Colorverse Intense Magnetic Field was part of an awesome box set opening experience that I did on another unboxing video, but this entire experience, all of the details in this actual opening and the box, especially for science nerds, I love space. I'm going to share this ink with one or two friends. So first off, we're going to give it a nice shake. I've already prepared my vials. CV is the brand, so the dot punctuates the brand. Colorverse Intense Magnetic Field here. Okay, we're going to prepare our vials. And one step we cannot forget. Prepare the area. Okay. Now I've only got 15 milliliters here, so I'm going to try and only really use hopefully 2 to 3 here. I'm going to try and do 3 because I feel that's a good sample size. A little bit more. It's really tough to get in there. There you go. Okay. Okay, we got about 3 there. Let's go ahead and cap that before any disasters happen. These are cool because they've got an O-ring on the inside to help seal the liquid too. So don't just get any cheap vials. If you're going to do this, get some good ones there. That was a good fill there. Okay. Perfect. 3 with a little bit extra. So I wasn't going to originally, but I ended up capping a 3rd bottle here because that's kind of what this hobby's about. I figured I'm going to share this with one extra person. Yeah, that's most of my vial, but you know, it's a good ink. I've tried it, but it's not something I'm going to use often. So I might pull it out for an occasion that necessitates this color, maybe a seasonal event or something, but otherwise I've got enough for, you know, a couple converters full. So I'm happy saving that and sharing this. Now let me show you what this looks like too. So I guess this is going to be our mini ink review. Here we go. Okay, we're over in my ink binder. And this is what this looks like. Let's get this in the sunlight. There you go. So it is a kind of plum color. And it's got a little bit of shading where you can see the upper parts of the letters are definitely more plum, and then the darker parts are almost a purple. The sheen looks like it's a gold-ish sheen there. when it comes out. However, the sheen doesn't really come out in the writing. It's really just in the big swatches. Otherwise, it's more of just kind of a plum shader with, if you do catch it, maybe a tiny bit of sheen. In the, there is a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of shimmer in the swatch, but not detectable at all in any of the writing. So, and what was this out of? This was a Raiden stub, so that was at least juicy enough to get some of that ink flowing for the larger capabilities of the ink. So now I'm opening the sample of Birmingham Cold Steel sent by Hellcat from Discord. I can't thank you enough, Hellcat. Third or fourth ink that I've actually been able to get to. I've just got so many pen reviews and so many pens inked up, and I'm just trying to go through as much ink as I can, but when you have 10 pens inked up, it's hard to go through a whole converter of ink. Anyway, because of that, we're actually not going to fully fill this converter. We are just going to go, I don't know, maybe, that's good. Yeah, we'll get one or two more for our swatch, right? Okay. And one of the reasons, so if I can, I preferably, on a nice dry pen, would prefer to dip the nib and then clean it, as in my previous Zen of the Pen videos, because that really primes and lubricates everything beautifully. So you get wonderful, it's almost like a dip pen where you get all those effects immediately. All of the sheen, the shimmer is very heavy once it's primed. So I like to do that on a typical filling. That said, when it's a limited amount of ink, such as a sample, or when it doesn't have necessarily all of those qualities, this looks to be more of a shader, less shimmer, for instance. This might just be an easier way to go about it. And as you can see, I didn't even fully fill the converter because I'm going to try and save some of that for later too. This is in a, what do we got here? This is going to go into a Retro 51, and this is in a medium nib. Here's my ink journal. So what I like to do when I start is get a swatch over here and then the ink and the alphabet there. So I'm going to go ahead and give 2 to 3 drops here. And that actually primes our feed too. So that way we know our ink is flowing well for the sample. Okay, we got 1, 2, and we'll do 3. All right, now I actually use the feed. I know some people like to use Q-tips and such, but personally I would think that a Q-tip would absorb some of those beautiful qualities, especially shimmer and I mean, it would change the viscosity definitely because you are, you know, absorbing a lot of the liquid right out of it. So anyway, I mean, right off the bat, it looked kind of a heavy application for my typical 3 drops, but we'll see how it dries. Now we're going to cap this up and we'll go ahead and start with our ink. So as I'm waiting for that swatch to dry, I'm cleaning out a vanishing point for a new ink, and I'm noticing that this KWZ green is a little bit more difficult to clean out than some of the other inks I have. So, I mean, it's kind of to be expected if you have a super, super deep sheen, heavy sheen. It's probably going to be more difficult to clean out of your pen. Not a super big deal. I mean, it just takes a little bit of extra time and patience with this water here. And this one over here, I was doing kind of a deep soak. So I wet this Q-tip and I let this soak for, I don't know, probably about 5, 7, 8 minutes now. And you can see that even the different colors, because I ran through some different colors at different times, but that was kind of helping to deep clean that area there. Now we have Birmingham Cold Steel. The swatch is pretty much dried. You can see on the swatch there's a tiny, tiny bit of shimmer, and it's not visible in the actual writing, but it is there in the swatch. The writing is nice. It's a deep, deep blue. There is a tiny bit of shading, and I feel this is similar to Pelham Blue from Diamine. So here is the Birmingham Cold Steel. Now we're going to flip to the Pelham Blue. Pelham Blue has a little bit more shading, but it doesn't have that tiny, tiny bit of shimmer, which can apparently come out as I'm shifting the page. I see it here and there, so. Well, that's going to close this out. As you can see, I'm still kind of cleaning some vanishing points for new inks, and I've got lots to do. So, I will thank you for joining me along the way on this end of the week's State of the Escritoire.